AZ-500 simulation questions. Domain 1, Manage Identity and Access, Part 2. Question 11. Every quarter, the group owner should review the membership of the human resource group. The group owner needs to check whether any users have not logged in to the group in the past 90 days. In such situations, those users should be checked to see if they have changed departments or left the company, and access for those users should be removed. What would you recommend to implement this requirement? The correct answer here is A, identity governance. You would implement identity governance because it has a feature for access reviews. The group owner can use this feature to manage the group. You can view Azure AD access reviews by navigating to Azure Active Directory and then go into the identity and governance link and then access review, and then you'll come over here. And when you create this review, obviously you got to give it a name, and you can start at a certain date when you want to do the review. You can specify how frequently you want the review to occur, whether it is monthly or annually. Quarterly seems to be a best practice, depending on the case, obviously. The duration of the review, in this case 20 days, and also you can put an end date, when you want the review to stop. And under the users to review, then you choose, basically the members of a group, and then you choose the group that you want to review. So this is kind of like the scope. In the reviewers, so you can also choose who's the group that's going to review this, or who's the person, or you can even have people review themselves, so just to see if they need access to that group or not. But again, this is a very important aspect of identity and governance, and access reviews are very useful in the cloud, actually in any environment, but this is something that is easily done in Microsoft Azure. Question 12. The Nutex Corporation has assigned all users with Azure AD Premium licenses. You have been tasked with configuring Azure AD identity protection for all users. What is the least privileged role required to configure new policies? The correct answer here is A, Security Administrator. The Security Administrator can manage Azure AD Identity Protection, Azure Information Protection, and the Office 365 Compliance Center. This role can manage and perform actions against policies within the Identity Protection Center. And the clue on this kind of questions is to understand the concept of least privilege. Obviously, you could do this with the global administrator, but then if you assign people to the global administrators, you're not following the least privilege concept, which is state that people should not be given more permission than what they need to do their jobs. And question number 13. You are configuring the authentication and signing method that will be used for the Nutex hybrid identity. You are required to ensure the users only have to remember one password when using on-premises Active Directory or Azure AD services. It is also important that the selected solution reduce the infrastructure footprint that needs to be managed. Which solution meets the desired authentication requirements? The correct answer here is B, password hash synchronization. Password hash synchronization will allow Azure AD Connect to synchronize a hash of the hash of user's password from on-premises Active Directory to Azure AD. The synchronization of the hash is part of the Azure AD Connect application and does not require the installation of any additional infrastructure to manage. This solution will meet the desired authentication requirements. Question 14. An Azure administrator has disabled the default option that enables all users to register applications. There is a request to assign permission to some developers to allow them to create and manage enterprise applications and applications registrations, but exclude the ability to manage application proxies. Which of the following actions should you perform to grant the request? The correct answer here is B. Add the developers to the Cloud Application Administrator role. You should add the developers to the Cloud Application Administrator role because this role has the required permissions to create and manage enterprise applications and application registrations and excludes the ability to manage application proxies. Question 15. As an Azure architect, you notice that built-in roles do not meet the specific needs of your organization. You need to create new custom roles. Which of the following should you not choose? The correct answer here is D, the Crystal query language. You cannot create new custom roles using the Crystal query language. This is a read-only language that processes data and retrieves values by using schema entities that are organized in a hierarchy similar to SQL's databases, tables, and columns. All the other answers are correct because you can use the REST API, Azure CLI, and Azure PowerShell to create new custom roles. And you can also use the Azure portal as a graphical option there as well. And here's an example of the kind of commands, right? The kind of a script that you would use to create this thing. And this is also the command that it would be used to use PowerShell to create a custom role. Question 16. A company is using Azure Active Directory with multi-factor authentication enabled. They plan to reduce the scenarios for requiring a password to enhance productivity to their employees. The passwordless solution must include only PINs and biometrics recognition on their phone. Which passwordless method should you use? The correct answer here is A, passwordless sign-in with Microsoft Authenticator app. Passwordless sign-in with the Microsoft Authenticator app supports PINs and biometrics recognition on the phone. Users can sign in using a mobile phone with a fingerprint scan, facial or iris recognition, or a PIN. It is suggested for scenarios that enhance productivity. Question 17. You are the Azure Security Administrator of the APAC region, Nutex Corporation. Nutex has hired a security architect to analyze the shortcomings related to the security of its subscriptions, management groups, and resource groups. The security architect has recently used Azure policy to enforce a specific set of network security groups, or NSGs, to a management group in the IPAC region. You have been informed that this policy assignment will hinder the deployment of a resource group, as the resource group will not be fully functional. You must inform the security architect to make changes to the assignment and allow the new resource group to use a specific set of NSGs for security purposes, but exclude some resource groups from a mandatory enforcement. What of the following is the quickest and most effective way to solve this issue? The correct answer here is D. Ask the security architect to add the new resource group as an exclusion. You must ask the security architect to flag the new resource group as an exclusion in the policy assignment. Azure policy uses built-in and custom policy definitions to enforce specific conditions when Azure administrators provision resources. A policy definition specifies conditions under which it is enforced and what happens when the conditions are met. In this case, the policy definition, and hence the policy assignment, specifies that all resource groups, resources, subnets, and VMs must mandatorily use a specific set of NSGs for security purposes. However, policy assignments also let you exclude specific resources or resource groups from imposed enforcement. Letting the security architect know that a specific resource group must be excluded is the quickest and most effective way in terms of scalability and security. In case you want the NSGs to be applied, the resource group must be removed from the exclusions list. Question 18. Your company's developers started creating secrets in Azure Key Vault. They can see and enter new values for their secrets. Their application is hosted in the app service and needs to read secrets from Key Vault. You need to ensure that the application in the app service can read secrets from Key Vault. The solution must be associated only with this app service. What should you do? The correct answer here is B. Enable systems assign managed identity. You should choose to enable a system assigned managed identity because app service needs to authenticate when accessing Key Vault. A system managed identity is only associated with the respective Azure resource, and it is deleted when the resource is deleted, and it cannot be shared. Question 19. Joe from the sales department may have been given excessive permissions to resources. How can you view Joe's current role assignments in the Azure portal? Choose the appropriate 5 steps and place them in the correct order. The correct order here would be to click all services and then choose your subscription from the subscription tab. That's number 1. Number 2, click the access control or IAM link. 3, click the check access tab. 4, at the find prompt, you would choose Azure AD user group or service principal, and then you would, look for Joe and choose Joe, and that way you would know. And here is a screenshot from the subscription from the Azure portal. So you go to the subscription, right? This is where we are at. you would choose the access control, or IAM, right over here. And so you would then choose, if you want to check your own access, you can do that there. But if you want to check somebody else's access, then you would find the person here. In this case is Joe. And once you click on Joe, then you know what kind of level of access Joe has at the subscription level. So here it's the information. So Joe is actually as a role, he has the owner role and also the service administrator. So he's basically has full access to all resources in the subscription. So if that the permission that he deserves, because whatever he does well, that's fine. But if not, then you know, it's very important to, and this is a manual review. There was a previous question or scenario in which we talked about access reviews, which is a method of kind of automatically managing the level of access that users have in the Azure portal. So more information here about Joe. So you know, you can Joe users, you can go to the user and then go to Azure role assignments, and you can see all that stuff there. Question 20, and the last of this batch of questions. Your company has an on-premise Active Directory and users in Azure Active Directory. You need to synchronize password changes in Azure AD back to your on-premises AD environment. The AD/DS environment has a forest level of Windows Server 2016. Users should be able to update their password or unlock their account using a web browser with the Azure Active Directory or Azure AD Self-Service Password Reset or SSPR. What should you configure? Select the appropriate choices and place them in the correct order on the right. First, you need to choose the grant reset password and write on the lockout time and PWD last set for the account specified in Azure AD Connect. Second, you must enable the password write back option in the Azure AD Connect. And finally, you must enable password write back in the Azure AD SSPR, the self-service password reset option in Azure. Here is more information about why those are the correct steps. So here are those steps as well. So here is a screenshot of the optional features in the Microsoft Azure Active Directory Connect tool. And basically, this is one of the things that has to be done. You need to enable this checkbox if you want people to be able to, you know, to change the password on Office 365 on Azure, and then come back to the Active Directory domain when you are in a hybrid network. This feature, you can enable this the moment when you install AD Connect, or you can add this later if it's something that it's a business requirement after the Azure AD Connect has been installed. So in the Azure portal, if you go to the Azure Active Directory Blade, and then you go to on-premises integration, this is where you have to come to enable write back password for your on-premises directory. By default, this is set to off. So if you want users to be able to change the password on the cloud and then write those passwords back to the on-premises environment, you need to set this to yes. And this feature here allows users to unlock accounts. The same thing. This is for users to be able to, if for whatever reason their account get locked on their environment. And again, this is only for companies that are in a hybrid environment and they have an on-premises Active Directory that synchronizes accounts to the cloud. All right, so we have come to the end of this second part of the AZ-500 simulation questions. Next, we will go through 10 more questions on this domain one, manage identity and access. So the next part three, it's going to be from question 21 to around 30, 31. So I hope to see you on the next video.